Okay, so what's up, YouTube? Once again, Filmton's Film Talks with day 3 of my tier lists, and today we will be tier listing Star Wars movies. So let's get right into it. Let's start off with the original, A New Hope. A New Hope. Whoops, missed it there. A New Hope is for sure the blueprint. I feel like all Star Wars movies, and I feel like movies in general, the amount of impact this tiny little movie has had on the filmmaking world is astronomical, and I feel like this is the tiny little movie that started it all. Is this the best Star Wars movie? Granted, no. I feel like that this is the one of the best. This is easily top 5, which let me get into this actually. I feel like almost half I'll bring this up at the end actually. So I'm going to stick this one in A. And of course, iconic characters like Darth Vader, Ben Kenobi, Luke and Leia, and Han, of course, R2D2. It really brings us what sparks the light of the very first franchise, and one of the very first movie of the franchise, and it's one of the biggest of the year. Um, number number two, number 5 technically. Empire Strikes Back. Empire Strikes Back goes into an S tier. I know that there are people online that like to like trash it and be like, "Oh, it's just the rebels running away for an entire movie." But this is such an epic movie. Like I hate to use that term, but that's what it is. It's an epic. I mean, and I feel like this is easily my favorite Star Wars movie because I feel like there's just so much going on, and I feel like it's purely everything about it just works so great. Whether it's them being on Hoth, or Luke training with Yoda, or Darth Vader on Bespin. Um, I feel like it's all just amazing, and I feel like this is easily, I think this is the highest rated Star Wars movie. I'm pretty sure it by critics and fans alike. I think it is like a 4.4 on Letterboxd. And let me say it deserves that score. It is perfect. This movie is quite honestly perfect. And I have no notes. This is like a 10 out of 10 movie. Next up, we have Return of the Jedi. And I really like Return of the Jedi. Return of the Jedi was one of those movies that as a kid I always liked because it had the furry little Ewok creatures. And I feel like Return of the Jedi gets a little bit of hate because I understand the opposition of people saying, "Oh, well, if Return of the Jedi came out today, people would call it lazy because it's just a rehash of the first one." But it also adds more layers to the story, and it makes the story more interesting and unique with people on Endor with the Ewoks and the invasion and taking down the second Death Star. And I feel like this is really the end to, quite honestly, one of the biggest trilogies of all time, or one of the most monotonous trilogies. And I feel like this deserves all of the love it gets because it's just such an it's an amazing experience, honestly. Um so for that reason, I'm putting it in A tier. Now, I do have a lot of friends that say that this is their favorite Star Wars movie. Some people actually, one of my friends actually said it's their favorite movie ever, which I kind of disagree with. But and I feel like this just everything. I love this movie. I love this movie, but it's not better. It's still like a 9 out of 10, similar to A New Hope, and but I feel like Empire Strikes Back is like the golden standard. But um I feel like I'd say it's about equal with A New Hope. I can see either way. And I feel like it all with the first trilogy, with the what is it, the base trilogy, like the original trilogy, it all really comes down to preference. None of them are bad movies, I'd say. Um which leads me in up next to episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Okay, so I'm not crazy about this movie, but I'm not crazy about this movie for other reasons than what are popular. I really do like the politics of the movie, and I do really like Anakin growing up. And okay, random little tangent I'm gonna go on here, but I really like the poster of Anakin as a kid with Darth Vader in the background, and I feel like it's a great way to like represent Darth Vader's character and put a little bit of light in like what is leading this up to in episode 4 and really all of the prequel trilogy. And That being said, I feel like the movie was kind of flat, even though Qui-Gon Jinn, my goat, Qui-Gon Jinn, um, he was obviously the best part of the movie, but I'm gonna go ahead and stick this in. I really wish there was an F here. I don't. How do we get an F here? Add a row below. Okay, F. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna stick this in C because I feel like this is perfectly average. It's good. It's fine. It's not great. Next up, we have episode two, and I re episode two, Attack of the Clones, and I rewatched this lately, and I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't. I remember when I saw this as a kid, and I was like, "Whoa, this is completely crazy." Those battle scenes, because I mean, there was so much going on, and I feel like that's what made the movie good. There was so much going on, and that's really what served the movie. But I feel like it's kind of flat. Not gonna lie, looking back on it, I do think that it's worse than a Phantom Menace. So I'm gonna put it right there at C. And next up we have Revenge of the Sith. Revenge of the Sith, I'd say, is my second favorite Star Wars movie because this movie came out right around the time that I was really getting into Star Wars. And maybe it's just the nostalgia and whatnot. I actually saw this in theaters about a year ago, and it's really great. I mean, I forgot how good it was. I think I have to put it in S. It's probably my second favorite Star Wars movie, right behind The Empire Strikes Back. And I know that this is most newer Star Wars fans' favorite movie, and for good reason too. I mean, we see the clash between the light and the dark, and we see really what led through spoilers, but you kind of have to see Star Wars towards Palpatine kind of planting the seeds into Anakin's subconscious that makes him turn into Darth Vader. And and I feel like that's really what makes this movie so great. Next up we have the Force Awakens, or did Rogue One, whatever. We're just going to go with the Force Awakens. Next up we have the Force Awakens, and actually let me bump that up to a B. And The Force Awakens, I feel like it was solid. It didn't really have anything going for it. It didn't have really anything against it. I mean, it was just, again, it was a rehatch of A New Hope. They were just trying to make money with it, I feel like. And I feel like they did a perfectly mediocre job. There wasn't anything good, not really anything bad. Starkiller Base was cool. Kylo Ren was pretty cool. It was weird seeing old Han. Leia was pretty cool. BB-8 was cool. Captain Phasma was pretty cool, I can't lie. I did like the character installment of Finn, who, that's actually, I really liked that because I really liked the side of seeing a stormtrooper become onto the light side, and I feel like that's actually what they really did well in the film. Um, Next up, we have The Last Jedi, and I'm not gonna lie, this is a guilty pleasure movie right here. The Last Jedi was, I remember seeing this in theaters, and I was like, it's kind of good. It's kind of good, and I mean, it's really that climax in the salt planet. I don't remember the name of it. You can go there in Battlefront, I think. Um, and I feel like that was just really cool, and Luke coming back and like teaching Ray, and I feel like it was kind of good. It kind of got my hopes up for what was, and I feel like kind of got my hopes up for what was going to end up being one of the worst movies of all time. And which sadly leads me next into my next up. We have Star Wars. What is it? Oh my god, what's it even called? The Rise of Skywalker. This movie is horrible. Never watch this movie. This is probably my least favorite movie of all time. Um, I'd like to start with saying that once again, I'm a major Star Wars fan and Disney, and a lifelong fan of Star Wars, and it pains me to see the paths that both of these companies are going down. And let's not mince words. Disney has systematically drained the soul of Star Wars. I feel like there wasn't much of a plan in the sequel trilogy. There wasn't no story arc. There wasn't no clear vision. The Force Awakens was just kind of like a repolished New Hope, and I feel like they did the first two fine. There wasn't really anything going against the first two, but then the Rise of Skywalker tried to undo everything that it tried to tie the fan base together with the divided base from the Last Jedi, and they brought back Zombie Palpatine, and we all know how the fans loved Zombie Palpatine, and it had such a convoluted plot, and it made no sense. It was just like corporate slop. They also treated the legacy characters with like zero reverence. Luke Skywalker, who was the symbol of hope and growth, was turned into a bitter hermit who gave up and drank space milk from a sea cow. Um, Also, I feel like this is just really worst of the movie is the cynical corporate strategy behind it all. Disney doesn't care about Star Wars. It's just trying to make money, and that's exactly what I saw with this movie. Um, I feel like this is just very upsetting to me. It's very upsetting to me that this is what Star Wars was ended on, and this is what Star Wars Legacy will be. And I feel like this kind of killed my interest in Star Wars. Like, yeah, Mandalorian was great, and I really did like the Andor show, but this just this made me really dislike Star Wars in a way that I don't think I've ever seen from any other franchise ever. So this is putting it in F. Actually, we'll put it in. Wait. Okay, wait. We'll put this in even worse. And this is honestly the worst movie I've ever seen. This is like a 0 out of 10, honestly. And I feel like just because of what it did to the franchise and such a beloved franchise at that this is what deserves to be the worst movie ever. Next up we have Solo. Solo, it was perfectly mediocre. I mean, it was like a cool backstory, but I feel like not much gained, not much lost. It was perfectly fine. It was perfectly fine. Um, Next up we have Rogue One, and I'm not gonna lie, I really loved Rogue One. When this came out, I mean that third act with the on the beach, I feel like that really saves the movie, and the opening act too. And I do feel like the second act where they're trying to build a team, it is kind of weak, but I feel like the third act really is what pulls it up out of the ground. And overall, that is my list. As a recap, we have Empire Strikes Back as the number one Star Wars movie, Revenge of the Sith, A New Hope, Return of the Jedi, Rogue One, Phantom Menace, The Last Jedi, The Force Awakens, Attack of the Clones, Solo, and He Who Must Not Be Named. So, thank you for taking some time to look at my tier list. Please subscribe and smash that like button.